Okay, now call the meeting of the Hardin County Board of Commissioners order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, and the pledge of allegiance. Oh God, thank you for the gift of this new day, and thank you for the blessings of this life. Family, friends, work, and purpose. Guide us as we discuss, plan, and dream together. Help us to make wise and just decisions. Amen. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held August 6, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Marner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Any guests? Mr. Brown? Yes. You just stand right there. That's fine.
Go sit down. Got a bad leg.
Okay, that's fine.
First of all, I was down to see my friend Tommy Lee Hayden Pool this week, and oh my God, is that place beautiful. And he has 25 lifeguards, 5 for next year already. 8 lifeguards work every day, 8 lifeguards a day. And Monk Chunk Lake can't seem to get 5. There must be a reason involved there. You know how much money you're losing this week by not having lifeguards out there by chance? We have a figure?
It's quite a bit.
Probably thousands and thousands. And if it would have been out as county people, then it'd be tens of thousands that you're losing. Just wanted to bring that up.
Right.
Well, you know why I'm here today, because,
Yeah.
like I say, Rocky, if you're a businessman, if you order $10,000 worth of windows, and they sent you $2,500 worth,
Yeah.
and they bill you for $10,000, what would you do?
Yeah, you do have a problem.
You know,
And
take
like
20, 75, 100 leaves you with 25, that's in my book. I mean,
Right.
you guys took the business away from me, I didn't,
Let me explain just for the public, Mr. Brown, that Mr. Brown has the contract with the county for the concession stand at the swimming area at the lake, as well as the camp
Right,
store.
right.
And he's here because of the reduction in, the lack of lifeguards. I would assume, since we have a lack of lifeguards, we cannot charge, but in the same token, do we have as many people? And you can continue, I just wanted to make the public aware that your relationship with the county and why you're here.
Okay. I mean, I don't know, you wanna say anything, or you want me to
Brittany.
make a comment, or you can continue and then I'll,
Britt,
Yeah, and your first name and where you're from for the record.
Brittany Yurchak, and I'm from Jim Thorpe.
Okay.
I think, I think, what did he say? I didn't quite get that.
For which one?
I didn't get that. by
no, I
changing
said
it.
if you just wanna finish up and then maybe I'll
Yeah.
give my comment about it.
No,
Like
that's
how maybe we
just
can
on that
resolve
part, I
this.
got something else, but
Yeah, go
for now
ahead.
I'm done with that.
Let me
Okay.
remind you, you do have a 3-minute limit, but if you proceed. Okay.
Pardon me?
You have a 3-minute limit.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, no, it's your turn, go ahead.
Yeah, you can
You can
finish,
proceed.
you finish up what you were talking about, the other things, and then I'll come back. to
Okay. The reason I'm here is just, like I said, the rent out there is pretty steep, and with this virus, it's not my fault why 75% was taken away from me. I mean, I don't see why I have to pull. I paid full rent last month using some of my own money, which I don't think I should have did. I should have, but I didn't want any of this to happen, but
Right.
that's the way it works. I'm here because things are only getting worse out there. This month is a terrible month. People are going school shopping, and they're making $100 a day some days out there.
Mhm.
And I just don't think I should be liable for the full freight. That's only my opinion.
We have reduced your rentals in.
The
what,
first month was, yeah, that was
Only the
appreciated.
first month?
No, I paid a full freight this last month.
You paid full freight, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to go back and check for sure. I thought it was till the end of July.
Well,
I'm not sure.
you were paying full, correct, this month, right?
yeah.
And I mean, we've had a lot of discussions about this, and there have been, regulations put in that there might, I don't know how many people actually come to the park in the first place. And I
Some
think,
days you have 100, and some you have 165, 200,
yeah.
but that
and-
don't bring much of them to the stands, you know?
No, and I think what we gotta look at is, I mean, I think we were pretty fair, I mean, in the beginning, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
continues. And I don't, you know, and if these regulations are put in, and it looks like it's us, you know what I mean, like, we're putting the regulations in, and I think your camp store is working out all right.
I was just gonna say that since you
Yeah.
guys opened up to other
Yes.
campers from out of county,
Right.
camp store, we can handle that now, you know?
Right.
But it's just that, the one on the beach is,
And I mean, this is my feeling on it, I mean, I'm not speaking for the other commissioners, but if there's something to say, I mean, if I just throw a number out there, say there's 1,000 people coming to the park. Now it's restricted to 250, and I mean, we had talked about this, that you thought that maybe it would be reduced, you know, to 25%. So I'm looking like if we review all the way back, and we can look at it, and, can we resolve it that way? Maybe we can, but I think the other alternative is through our grants. Now, when we have our grant, our second round, I mean, you would be more than welcome to fill out for
I
that
thought that was
grant.
just for people who just had full-time employees.
Well, I don't know how this, you, like with yours, now wouldn't he be considered a business owner?
Yeah, but I don't have any full-time employees, we're only part-time at the lake.
But don't you work there, or who
Yeah.
works there? You know, like, is there something through the grant that he could get money
Chris,
through that?
Yeah,
of
but
loss?
I would be applying for my employees, I would think.
Yeah, Wayne, there's no requirement to have full-time employees.
Yeah,
You know, talking to Jeff, he would be eligible to apply.
So if you would say last year, I mean, and I don't know what you make, I'm just saying you made $1,000, okay? And this year you only made $250, okay? Now, you could apply for that you lost that much money. So if you're looking at it that you lost that money for over a 3-month period of time, you could put in for that $750 for 3 months, and you could apply in the second round. I mean, that would be one of the alternatives. With our alternative here of trying to change things, and I see where you're coming from. I mean, I understand it. It cut down on your business, and you might be looking at it, it is our, you know.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's been over backwards to help the little guy. I'm littler than Lou, and it seems like you guys are it's just falling on deaf ears here. I don't know what to say.
No, and I think somewhere along this, we can resolve it, but we just have to watch with our contracts that we have with others. And I know we discussed it about the train is coming back, so the vendors that we have here will probably make out this weekend, I'm sure of that. So I think yours is a little bit of a different situation, that we have to handle it a different way. You know, how we're gonna handle the contract, I don't know, there's guidelines that we gotta stay by, but I'm thinking we can resolve this somewhere, either by what we wanna, you know, what we are gonna discuss through the contract, or either through the grant. I think either way, we can resolve this. I mean, that's our two options, you
We'll look at
know?
it.
Well, how come the first month was okay, and now we got, all of a sudden we got these grants and everything?
Okay, we'll revisit it, and I would strongly encourage you, as Rocky has, and I'm sure Chris agrees, put an application in and for the second round, and I would start working on that now, looking into it and seeing what you have to do, okay?
Yeah, and even if you have like your receipts from last year, like, I mean, if you have it, what you possibly made last year after.
Yeah, we have all that, we have all
Yeah, that
that.
everything was over, and I'm not getting into your business, what you made or whatever, but like I said, if you made 1,000 and you only made $250 a month this year, then like I said, you can put in for that other you know, the other $750 per month.
When's
you
this
know?
gonna be resolved then, or what?
I guess we're just gonna look over it, and I think we almost have to see like I think we wanna go over a little bit on how our grants are gonna be handled, in the first place, that we're gonna have money left over for the second round. You know, we don't wanna exhaust all our funds either.
Yeah, no, really, I wasn't looking for an answer from a grant, I just like to know, hey,
Well,
I pay cash every time you do, I didn't miss a payment over 10 years, I'm
Right.
Well, we're telling you.
I just like to have an answer one way or the other, on his grant stuff, or maybe no, or whatever.
This is one way you could possibly recuperate some of that funds, and that we could help you out in that respect as well, okay?
Yeah. And what wind up making out more, you might make out better by the grant from us just reducing it. I
Yeah.
mean, we could sit down and, you know, go over the whole thing from the beginning of the year to the end.
Are they
And-
payable back or not, or they just,
No, it's a grant,
Yeah,
it's not repairable. Okay?
okay,
and like I said, Bob, I see where you're coming from. And I said, and in one part of you're looking at it, that we created the problem, maybe we did. And if it was, then we should resolve it. That's my point.
oh, yeah, one more question if I could.
Okay.
100 people ask me. People from out of county aren't allowed to get onto the beach, right? For $10,
No, that's
but if they
incorrect,
get a
Bobby.
campsite,
That's incorrect, Bobby.
The campers may, yes.
pardon me?
Campers,
Campers
pavilion
are
users.
allowed.
That's what I was just getting to.
Yeah.
How does, nobody understands how that, you're still gonna be an outsider, right? If you pay $10, you pay $40, you're still going to the beach.
Yeah.
Nobody understands that.
Bobby, excuse me, this is Chris.
Go ahead, Chris.
We're not, Bobby, this is about social distancing on the beach. It's not.
I understand
It's not
that.
about restricting individuals from other areas. We've gone from yellow to green, right? You know, so while we do see historical problems pandemic-wise from other areas, the modification to the ordinance or to the resolutions that were made were to ensure social distancing or physical distancing on the beach. And we knew the way to approach that was the ordinance modifications that included
Chris,
restricting.
Chris,
Chris,
I hate to interrupt
Yeah.
you, but Mr. Brown has gotten up and left the room.
Okay, good enough.
Okay, all right. And the party doesn't understand too as well, if we restricted the camping area to only county residents, he'd be hurting at the camp store now too. So there are two ways of looking at that, and I didn't get the opportunity to tell him that. So we'll move on. Let's just do the bid opening quick before we get to the department reports. We only have two bidders. For the one anyway.
I thought you were doing the gas.
Guess.
Oh, yeah, you have.
Yeah, Tony, do you wanna go first, do your presentation on, updating of your licensing and et cetera?
Right, so two items I want to bring before the commissioners and before the public today. The first is
Why don't you come up here where you can be seen on camera, Tony? Maybe up on the corner where Chris normally sits.
So-
Move the chair this way a little bit. There you go, okay.
So the first item that I would like to address is I'm very pleased to announce that we have, after an extensive search, located an excellent individual to take our captain's position in the sheriff's office, and I would like to introduce that individual right now. I'd ask Mr. Daniel Ziegler to stand. Dan comes to us from the Northampton County Sheriff's Department. He has a bachelor's degree in administration of justice and a master's degree in public administration. He will hold the number 3 position in the sheriff's office, and we're happy to have him with us.
Thank you, Sheriff, appreciate that.
Dan will be available if anyone has any questions from the press or anyone to answer any questions afterwards. A second item I want to bring to the commissioners' attention and to the general public is that a short while ago, we changed our schedule for license to carry permit processing because of the backlog we received during the brief shutdown. We decided to conduct and open the sheriff's office on Saturdays and Wednesday evenings so that we could process the backlog. We have now addressed the backlog of license to carry permits that were in arrears. We haven't had much of a desire for individuals to come on Saturdays. We only had a few, so we're going to discontinue the Saturday processing. However, we still have individuals who would like to come in after work, so we're going to continue with the Wednesday evening processing. The change in the schedule, instead of walk-in, was by appointment only. That is working out very well for social distancing because it's allowing us to control the amount of traffic we have. So we're gonna continue with appointment processing during the day in the sheriff's office and on Wednesday evenings until 7 o'clock. That's my report.
Okay,
Commissioner.
thank you, Tony. Any questions for Tony, moving it along with him? He's gonna be here for, another agenda item, during the meeting as well. Jamie, from Jimmy Drake from Carbon Manure Pipe, Drug and Alcohol, if you would, Jamie. We had a, COVID focus group meeting this past week, on Tuesday, as we have been every other week. And, some of the issues that have come up, we want to make people aware of and the services that are available. Unfortunately, our person from Carbon Monroe Pipe MHDS could not make it today, and hopefully she'll be here with us next week. So Jamie, if you want to continue our conversation from COVID.
So again, I'm Jamie Drake, I'm the Executive Director from Carbon Monroe Pipe Drug and Alcohol. And the big thing I really want to get out there is that, you know, even though COVID is going on, our services are still available, and we understand with increased stressors people are experiencing. There might be a lot of people out there that are having substance use disorder issues that are worried if they can get help. All of our services are open. Our 24/7 hotline is there to help people get placed after hours, and that number is 1-866-824-3578. In addition, we are doing all telehealth at this point. So we are seeing folks utilizing Teams where we can do video sessions, as well as if someone doesn't have that, we would do it by telephone to still provide those support services to individuals. But we do also have some folks that are in the office if somebody doesn't have the capability. So they can still walk in and access any kind of services. And we also have all of our funding is available. So if somebody is uninsured and doesn't have the funds to go to services, we can help to pay for that. So we really just want to get that word out there. You know, we have seen a reduction in the amount of people that are coming in, and, you know, we just want to make sure that people still know that they can get help if they need it. Thank you.
Anything else we'd like to discuss regarding the, what is going on in the use of drugs maybe, or types of drugs being used currently?
So we've been starting to track, the state has required us to track examining 2019 to 2020, the same time period of overdoses, to see if we are experiencing the least amount of overdose deaths. At this point, it's holding pretty steady. We aren't really seeing a drastic increase in overdoses from the same time period in 2019, but we'll continue to look at that. And then as far as what drugs we're seeing, you know, again, there's a lot of focus on opiates. We still are seeing opiates, but we are seeing much more in the way of methamphetamine use, even in our collaborations with the St. Luke's Hospital and the emergency department, examining where we do warm handoffs for people to get into treatment who present in the emergency room. There's much more methamphetamine as well as alcohol. Alcohol is actually still the primary reason people are accessing the ED after hours. But we do also have a process in place there where we work with St. Luke's to get people right from the hospital into a facility.
So, and then one of the things we have talked about too, from what we understand, the referrals for homeless children is like quadruple in the last few months. So we'll be addressing that issue right now with the homelessness and the homeless task force.
Right, and you know, and many times, all of those other issues, you know, in many cases behind the scenes, there is some substance use disorder going on in the home. So again, you know, we work collaboratively with all the other human service agencies within the county to try to address all the issues that are happening.
Any other questions, Chris or Rocky? You good?
I'm good.
Okay, thank you, Jamie, and hopefully Jen Britt will be able to attend our meeting next week and talk about the mental health issues that we're seeing a sharp increase in due to COVID-19 epidemic. So, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll move on to opening of bids.
The first project is Lehighton Borough sidewalks, fiscal years 2016, 17, and 18. Replace ADA handicap ramps at the corners of Iron Street from 2nd Street to 6th Street. And the first bidder is Lehigh Asphalt Paving and Construction out of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. And the amount bid, $316,567.25.
Okay, there is a 10% bid.
Okay, and the next bidder is Bruce George Paving and Excavating Incorporated out of Kunkletown, Pennsylvania. The amount bid, $355,119.02.
Did Jason say how many weeks he needs to review? 2 weeks? He said 2 weeks.
And there is a 10% bid on it.
I'll make that motion. And we're gonna, table this for 2
Yeah.
weeks, so they have time
So
to
we
review
won't
it,
have
correct?
any objection.
Okay.
2 weeks.
You made the motion, Mr.
Yes.
Arner?
Yes.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Next item is the Mahoning Township Street Improvements, fiscal year 2016, 17, and 18. Reconstruct and pave Pine Street from Douglas Street to Mauchunk Street. And we have 3 bidders. The first bidder is Schuylkill Paving Incorporated of Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. The amount bid, $170,272.50.
There is a 10% bid on it.
Okay, the next bidder is the H&K Group of Skip-Pack, Pennsylvania. They didn't put an amount on. I'm not sure if this is right, it should have been on the front here, but. Okay, $147,025.63.
There is a 10% bid on it.
Okay, and the last bidder is Lehigh Asphalt Paving and Construction Company of Tamaqua, Pennsylvania. The amount bid, $176,399, no cents.
There is a 10% bid limit.
So move that we table for a period of 2 weeks, during which time we send it to the Office of Planning and Development for assessment and recommendation to accept or reject.
Second that.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Report of executive sessions held.
there were none.
Department reports, the budget transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
There were no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 214872 through 215078 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $665,069.61.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The personnel report.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yeah, I vote yes, with the exception of the hire of Scott Pompa, to which I abstain due to a conflict of interest.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
There was no correspondence received. Children and youth. For approval and execution, a fiscal year 2020-2021 purchase of service agreement with the County of Northampton, Eastern Pennsylvania, as per the attached rates.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Human Services, for acceptance, the fiscal year 2019-2020 State Food Purchase Program Fourth Quarter Expense and Data Report as submitted by Shepherd House Incorporated to the Department of Agriculture.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
For acceptance, the 2019-2020 third quarter, April through June of 2020 inventory participation report and invoice expense reimbursement request for the Carbon County Temporary Emergency Food Assistance Program, which has been submitted to the Department of Agriculture.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Juvenile Court, for approval and execution, an updated letter of agreement with Behavioral Health Associates of Lehighton, Pennsylvania, to allow for appropriate levels of collaboration between the agencies.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Planning and Development, for approval and execution. Change order number 2 to the contract with APM Construction Incorporated of Lansford, Pennsylvania, for the Parks Recreational Facilities Ginter Field Rehabilitation Project building in Summit Hill Borough, fiscal year 2016 and 2017. Due to the changes in the contract, the cost was increased $1,500 for a new total contract price of $112,150.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
For approval and execution, a revision for the Franklin Township CDBG fiscal year 2018 for reallocation of funds as follows. CDB contract fiscal year 2018 moved $61,300.79 from water improvements, Red Hill Road Phase 2, to street improvements, Red Hill Road Phase 1. Franklin Township is also using $29,015.21 from their fiscal year 2017 for this project.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The home program for approval and execution. Change order to the contract with the service team of Lehighton, Pennsylvania for the contract number RK 118-2-137. The original price is $11,775. The change order increases $225 for a new contract price of $12,000.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The Sheriff's Department, for approval and execution. Request was received from the county sheriff enclosing a proposal from Johnson Controls of Allentown, Pennsylvania for repair on the alarm system exterior door keypad located at the sheriff's office in the amount of $2,427.83 under Pennsylvania State Contract Number 44000-15469.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
For approval and execution, proposal from Johnson Controls of Allentown, Pennsylvania to update the access control system under Sourcewell contract number 03151-7SGL for the Administration Building, 76 Susquehanna Street, Judges Chambers, and Court Administration at a total cost of $41,689.56. Pennsylvania prevailing wages will apply.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitors report?
Thank you. Agency on Aging for approval and execution in agreement with Blue Mountain Hospital Adult Day Services of Lehighton to continue to provide adult daycare services for the term July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2023 at the rate of $63.32 per day. The previous rate was $62.86 per day.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Also for Aging for approval and execution, a professional services agreement between the Carbon County Area Agency on Aging and the Lackawanna County Area Agency on Aging for an Aging and United Disability Services and Disability Resource Center, ADRC, to partner together to perform person-centered counseling effective July 1, 2020 through June 30, 2022. Carbon County Agency on Aging is the fiduciary agent for the ADRC program. Office will pay the approved person-centered counseling units with ADRC funding.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Domestic Relations for ratification, the Title 4D Cooperative Agreement between the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services and the Domestic Relations Section of the Court of Common Pleas of Carbon County and the Carbon County Commissioners to maintain and improve the effectiveness of the Title 4D Child Support Enforcement Program. Term is October 1, 2020 through September 30, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Further business?
Okay, just under further business, I just want to mention that we received communication from the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation advising that the parking lot trail project has been advertised for bids on the state ECMS system. The bids will be open on September 3rd, and after review, the PennDOT will make a recommendation to the county to award the bid to the lowest qualified bidder. So, project's moving along. Don't expect work to start till next spring, but by the end of October, I would say we definitely have a bid awarded and possibly have the contract signed. So, project's moving finally, so we're getting there.
I'd like to bring a little bit of stuff up under, I don't know what it's gonna be, old business or new business, and it contains information about our grants. There's emails that have been going back and forth, and I think the last email that we got, that we're looking to complete starting, considering percentage band of grant awards. Which I think when this started off in the continuing, yes, there were some regulations done to it, but I think the purpose of it was to help small businesses. And then there were other regulations that came out that if you got grants, you had to give preference to the ones that we don't, or that did not receive it already. Now, what I'm looking at, and I've done my own spreadsheet on this, and it looks to me like it's going in another direction. And I think we have to sort of get a hold on this before this goes out to the committees. You know, the committees don't really have a direction on what the commissioners want them to look for. And if it's out there, I missed the memo. But you look at some of this, and I've done my own spreadsheet, and this is, Jeff is gonna be documenting everything. But people that have received grants already, that have applied to us, have gotten grants of $10,330,378.88. And I think, and they're well deserving of more money if that affected their business. But we have businesses that put in for $51. We have businesses for $1,500. We have fire companies that weren't even allowed to do anything from $8,000, $20,000, so 0 to 211 or whatever we have. This should be separated from ones that got the grants to the other ones that did not receive anything. Because it said, when you look at the amount, and people have filled out here, $10 million is an awful lot of money that these people got. And I'm sure they might need 20 million. I'm not $10 million up here for grab. What are we gonna do? We're only gonna give 3 million out, maybe in the first round. So what are we gonna do? Give everybody 1/5 of what they wanted? So this guy that put in for $51, we're gonna give him $10. You know, that's not the right thing, and that's not what I interpret it as. And I said, I've been following it from Senate Bill 841 all the way through. And I think we have to sit down and determine what we're doing, because next thing, we're giving it to the committees, they're making a determination on what we're doing, or what we're giving out. You know, what is their direction? And right here are the people that are responsible for the audit. You know, there's some open numbers in there where there's 4 in that is 000. I mean, I was on the webinar the other day, and if anybody is getting paid through this, we should have contracts with them. I know there was another email where it was sent out that these people had to sign, was it a security waiver or, you know, a confidentiality waiver? You know, was all of this done? When we get audited, everything has to be in place. And like I said, we're gonna have to set a meeting up, and I think there was even a date set for us to award the grants. We're not even at that point yet. We have to sit down and make sure this is all right before we get to the awarding. And I would like to do the awarding tomorrow. You know, these businesses have been sitting here for months without money, you know, and it keeps going week after week and week after week. They should have their money today. So I think we gotta sit down and have something going on, what our objective is, and that's the end of it. You know, we gotta look out for the small guy that needs that $51. And that's all I have to say, thank you.
Commissioners' reports, anything further?
No.
Commissioner Lukasevich?
I'll hold my comments till next Thursday when I'm physically present.
Okay.
Commissioner Notstein?
No, I have nothing further for today. Okay, all right, let's go adjourn the weekly meeting of the commissioners. Before everybody gets up to leave, we'll now call the meeting of the monthly meeting of the election board for August 13th, 2020 to order.
Okay, first item is the approval of the minutes of the election board meetings held on July 9th, 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes, are there any guests concerning the election board business at this time? Hearing none, we'll move on to further business or comments. I talked to Lisa Dart, she's not here this morning. We've already received 5,000, more than 5,000 applications for no-fault absentees or mail-in voting. So they're extremely busy again at the election office. The absentee ballots will not be mailed out until mid-September then. So you can go online and see if you are registered. There's some confusion out there of receiving absentee ballots from two different sources. People are sending them in twice. If you have any doubt, if you're registered for the absentee ballot, you can go online and check, or you can call the election office. So they're extremely busy down there, and I think we're going to continue up until the deadline for the applications. So that's all I wanted to report on today.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, again, here we go again. So, Chris, anything?
Nothing like,
Okay?
No, and I think they're just putting different regulations in, and they're trying to figure out, I think what they're looking for is have the ballots counted that night for a number. I really don't see how they're gonna do it. I think they're talking about maybe letting them start counting a couple days ahead of time. You know, and these are all regulations. I mean, you gotta talk to Lisa about it. Every day there's something changing. And I think we're gonna be looking at maybe possibly having more people hired for this. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of numbers that gotta be counted in a short period of time.
There is some proposed or pending legislation, I understand, on deadlines and filing, et cetera, because of how things were changed for the last election. They saw what kind of issues they created for the elections offices in the counties. Like one was up to a week before you could apply for the absentee. Well, the people weren't even gonna get the mail in time and then have to return it within a week. So that's one of the proposals, or one of the issues, that they're looking at extending that back to 2 weeks. You know, before I think it was 30 days, they made it 1 week. Well, you know, if you put something in the mail today to the people for the application, till they send it back and everything, it may be too late. So it created more problems than it helped. And people should know by now when the elections are, you know. So to me, I just don't think that, if they can't meet that deadline 2 weeks before with all the advertisements and ads and campaigning and everything else, there should be no excuse for not having it in plenty of time. And if you feel you're not going to be available to vote in person, and I would strongly encourage that yet, I'm concerned about all these mail-in ballots and that, but, you know, get out there and vote is the bottom line. But do it early. If you're gonna apply for one, don't wait till the last minute. You think you won't be able to make it, apply, okay? Anything else? Okay, election board meeting is adjourned. Kelly, would you like to go first?
Good morning, I have nothing, thank you.
Okay, Brian?
Nothing? Thank you.
Okay, good to know. All right, thank you, everyone.